Welcome to episode 5. As we left our heroes, they had just walked into a room with 3 human skeletons staring back at them. Roll for initiative.
Ooh.
Alright.
We don't do that much anymore. It's too formal, just like, alright, who's going first?
Alright.
Well, a lot of times it works out, but this time, whoever comes in first, there's a reaction, there's whatever. This time it's pretty much a straight, you're all here, let's
Right.
see how it shakes out.
Dane rolled a 15.
Ooh, nice one.
Castros got 19. Oops. Ray got 9.
And Ray is 9. All right. Let me roll them really quick. Let's see, I've got a...
Oh,
wow.
Okay. I'm
A
actually
12, a 17, and an 18.
Actually, I'm at 17. I forgot I have a... Oh, wait a minute. No? Oh, never mind. Yeah, I'm 15. I have a +0 for initiative.
All
Good
right.
job, Dean.
Lame. Okay. So, yeah, 15.
All right. Let me get this all in here in order. I'm to try to do better about remembering these things, actually putting it all into Notepad, just so I don't lose track. Alrighty. Well, Castros, you
Yep.
may act first.
I can only imagine that Castros, as a direwolf, just sees these skeletons and just goes, bones. Yeah. He's probably within 5 feet. So he gets advantage on attack roll. Then he gets advantage on attack rolls because he's within 5 feet of his allies.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely within 5 feet of your allies, so yeah, go ahead, charge, attack, whatever.
He only has bite as an attack, as a direwolf.
Well, it is just a bone. I'd imagine it would just comfortably fit in your mouth.
Yeah. That's a 17 to hit.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit.
You've got a bone to pick with them.
10 piercing damage.
Cool. Not much to pierce, but
Yeah.
there's no flesh, but
Just
that's
shatters
awesome.
the bone.
Well, I'm gonna say bite probably into something vital like a femur that's gonna hold it up, and your jaws are so powerful it just crushes it, and the skeleton tips over, hits the ground, and just shatters apart.
Darn. I was just about to add, that if the target was a creature, then it has to make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone, but I guess that doesn't matter now.
Oh, it's very prone. It's deathly prone.
It's dead.
It's dead. All right, but the next one, let's see. It will. Yeah, since you made that attack, it'll try to hit you, and because you're obviously going to be close enough. So this is a 18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. And that will be a scimitar, which is a 1d6.
Castros would know, he has one.
Yep. Well, I'm going down. I've got my whole stat block here. I gotta, make sure I get the right thing because there's a bunch of notes because it's a skeleton. So there's like damage reductions for bludgeoning and all this other stuff. Anyway, it hit for 4.
All right. Castros can take 4, especially as a direwolf.
Right on. And then we will go to Dane.
Alright, well, I'm gonna attack the next skeleton in line.
The one that just hit Castros, the
Yeah,
wolf,
yeah,
or
do that.
okay.
Let's attack the one that hit Castros.
All right, go for it.
15 to hit.
You hit.
Yay! Okay. So... Ooh, nice one. That's 10 damage.
Uh, you take it out. You crush some bone. Think Henry the Red in Army of Darkness spinning his Morning Star, and he hits the deadite skeleton, and it turns to dust. Just poof.
Perfect.
Alrighty.
One to go.
So I'll put that one down as an X. All right. The other one, well, I guess they don't have any fear, so they're just going to attack anyway. So he'll take a swing at you. And that is not going to hit.
Yay.
So it goes to Ray.
Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna get this last one in my sights, and I'm gonna shoot it with my longbow.
Okay.
That's an 11 to hit.
You go right through the ribs. Like it would have, on a normal creature, it would have hit, but it's a skeleton, so you just slid right through it.
Gosh dang it.
All right, we're back up to Castros.
Alright. So, only one skeleton left, so... I'm just imagining, like, after he just rips apart, like, this other skeleton, or just crushes this other skeleton, he just kind of does, like, a slow turn to the remaining skeleton. And we'll do another attack. Yeah, that's gonna be, 22 to hit.
Jeez. Well, yeah, you hit. Like, did you want to call, like, a specific thing? Like, you particularly hit the pick a bone? You got 202 to choose from.
It was a 22 to hit. He just, like, as a direwolf, just leaps up and snaps his neck in two.
Well, you gotta roll for damage.
I'm gonna assume he might die.
Chances are, but yeah, roll for damage.
Oh, actually, maybe not. Oh,
They don't have many hit points.
6.
That's exactly their hit points.
Perfect. So as I described earlier, he just jumps up and just snaps its head off.
So skull rose one way, jaw chattering.
Dope.
Awesome. So last one hits the ground. If you don't recall, really quick, let me describe. You are in a square room that has 3 doors in it. It's pretty good sized. It's like 25 by 25, and you notice kind of in the northwest corner, there aren't any doors up there, but there's like a pile of belongings that chances are probably belong to whoever these people were in life.
Castros will definitely go and search the belongings.
Okay. Going through, you find a bunch of rotted clothing. Not much to find. There's rusted implements and a notebook bound in leather.
Alright, he'll grab the notebook and bring it to one of his allies that can actually read it.
Right on. Who's taking it? Barnaby or God dang it.
I know, right? Dane.
Yeah.
Dane
Dane.
will take it. So Dane
All right.
takes
Dane takes it. You open it up. A bunch of the pages on the top have been pretty well damaged with time and moisture. But as you get down into the bottom near the end, you start finding some pages still intact, and there's some legible writing on it.
Well, I shall try to read it.
Alrighty. There's a couple of scribbled notes about how they've been here for a while, getting lost, going through the rooms. They notice some weird architecture, but they're afraid to push it to see what the various things do. There's some sketches you recognize of the little seat and the homunculus. And then at the very end, there's a note that says, Abloso must not be allowed to escape. If he does, Theseus is our only hope.
Theseus.
Ah,
I'm gonna say, like, what
We
are you guys
have a
looking at me
lead.
for?
hallelujah, a lead. Okay,
Theseus.
now we need to find Theseus. Fantastic. Okay.
So you would come in through the southeast corner. There is a door in the northeast corner and the southwest corner.
Okay. So you said there's a door in the northeast corner?
Yes.
Okay. And southwest?
Yes. And
All right.
you do hear there's like shuffling and movement coming from the north.
Hmm.
Well, it's up to you guys. Castros can't open doors.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's. Where do you want? What do you think, Gray?
This ain't no forest. I got no idea where to go.
All right. Well, I think Dane's gonna try the south west door first. Then.
Okay. You open it up, and there is a room behind that door that is about as long as about the same length as the room you're in, about half as width, and it is full of the zombified people. There's lots of them. The ones closest to the door react with the fear you are used to from Castros wearing. Was it Castros wearing the mask?
Yes.
Okay, from Castros wearing the mask, but there's so many of them that they can't run away, and the ones behind keep pushing towards you. So even though the ones get close and try to turn, there's just too much mass of bodies, and they're getting thicker, and so you have this like push-pull effect going on where there's a larger mass behind pushing towards you, the ones closest are pushing away. Think of like a, oh, that would be a good example. Yeah, a phospholipid bilayer, remember from biology class?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically that type of thing going on, but with people pushing against each other.
So is this room like packed full of zombies?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, but they're the people, you know, they're the ones like from the town, but they're acting all zombified.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I see anything else with this room? Are there any other doors?
There's a door going out the north.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna quickly close the door again.
Okay. As you do, you hear the bodies on the other side hit it. You hear a thud.
Just in time. Okay.
I'll get back to that.
You know, we're gonna go try the north door then.
Okay, you find that you cannot open it.
So, back the way we came, then the other way in that T-junction was, like, the smell of blood. So if we needed to, we could go back that way as well.
So I cannot open the north door at all. Is it locked or is it stuck or what?
It feels stuck, but like the knob turns and it goes to budge like there's something behind it that's preventing it from being opened.
No, okay, almost like there's a bar across it or something. Okay, well let's go out the door that we came in then.
And go down to the blood.
Yeah, let's go follow the blood smell.
Okay, you pass by the T junction and you begin to descend the stairs when you see another horde of those zombie people coming up towards you from the bowels of the labyrinth. I don't know what to call it.
No, fantastic.
Okay, well, that's the thing though, because earlier, I remember one time when we were just killing them outside of it for the heck of it, or at least Castros was, then if they don't die, then they're knocked out of it. Like, pain makes them snap out of it. So I feel like Direwolf Castros is just kind of gonna like, because they're scared of him, so they're gonna start backing up before they actually try to attack him. So I think he's just gonna like nip at their ankles and like deal maybe one like point of damage to them as he just walks by.
Fight as many of them as you can.
Yeah, but not bite to kill.
It's so you bite them and they snap out. They're afraid. They both they don't know what to do or where to go, so you start getting them to just like curl up in the fetal position on the ground, and then they get trampled over by ones coming up behind them.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Well,
So that doesn't work very well then.
I mean, we just power through.
Oh God. Let me
That's
put this into
chaotic.
perspective. Those that have night vision looking down can see this looks a lot like World War Z.
Castor's is chaotic neutral. He's like, hey, I found a way to get through, and he's just gonna keep going. He's just gonna continue what he was doing.
You can, so as you bite and they drop, it's almost like the mythical Hydra. You know, a head falls, two more take its place. So you're fighting. No, you're trying to fight your way through, but they just keep coming.
Interesting.
For the love of all that is good and holy, can we please get Castros off of our team?
It's actually been pretty darn helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. So we went. Okay, so did we take the eastern? We took the eastern corridor first, right?
Yeah, you went to the east. That's where you found the skeletons that you just
Okay.
fought.
Got it.
The other way went down.
And that's just packed with zombies, so it's kind of impassable then.
Yes.
Okay, well I guess our only choice is to kind of go back the way we came.
Right on. So you work your way. Let me get to my map. You just want to work your way out and back to the entrance because you know that route well.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. So as you work your way through the corridors, the ones ahead of you maintain that fear. Thankfully, because well, I mean, you've got I guess a wolf wearing a mask that was absorbed into its flesh when it became a wolf. So anyway, just working on the mechanics in my head of what happened there. So
I think probably if you look at it, you're going to think it looks a lot like that one thing on Neverending Story.
Well, no.
oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's good and terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better than what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Milo. What I think it was Milo, the dog from The Mask, the original one with Jim
Oh,
Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of freaky.
Well, how druids work is that they can choose to either have their equipment and clothes hang off of them in animal form, like actually still be there, or they can just kind of like disappear but like merge with the the creature. So that's kind of what Castros did. He just
Yeah,
let it
but
merge.
it's still giving off that aura, and you got to admit that wolf creature off Neverending Story was pretty scary.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, all right, so we're gonna work our way back to the temple entrance.
Okay. You make it up, and you notice that as you pass from the doors, the zombies seem to have been that are in the rooms around seem to be concentrating and coming out and following you.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm assuming we're gonna start picking up speed too, trying to stay ahead of the zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, the ones that are ahead at least seem to be moving out of the way. That fear aura seems to be quite
Pretty-
useful.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we'll just make our way to the entrance.
Okay.
Making our way downtown, walking fast, faces fast.
You successfully do a rendition of oh crap, now I just lost who did that song. Never mind.
Carly Rae Jepsen, right? Or is it?
Don't ask me. I wouldn't know.
I'm not gonna look it up. Hey, that's one of the hallmarks of this podcast. We don't do our research.
No.
So
We do things on the fly.
exactly. So you guys make it all the way up and out into the temple area. You make it outside, and you see the sunlight of the day.
Yay. Okay.
I don't know what you want to do from here, so I just figured I'd stop there.
Well, Um. I don't know what to do either. Well, so we're in the sun.
Mhm.
So we need to find someone that knows something about Theseus.
Yep. Yeah.
So, I guess we go back to that place of learning where all the university kind of thing is, and talk with that one guy that helped us before.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. So I think that's what we'll do.
Okay. You go back down the rolling hills into town, and you notice that slowdown from before has reached even further. And in fact, you get to the that place of learning, and you go to the door, and you notice that the people walking inside have slowed as well.
Hmm.
I'm just imagining. Sorry, I'm imagining right now that Castros is just still the direwolf, just prowling around town. But I was,
Wearing the fear mask.
yeah, it's like, just
Oh yeah, there's like slow motion looks of horror and people turning to flee, but being kind of almost they look like they're almost stuck in time,
yeah.
compared to like or you're moving just super fast.
Kind of running in slow mo. They're running in slow motion.
Castros has two
Yeah.
uses of like wild shape. So if he wanted to, he could like de-transform and he'd still have another use before like a long rest type thing. But I feel like he's already probably close to his hour of time. So he's just gonna use the rest of it to torment people. Why not?
Oh, you definitely. I mean, the time it takes to get up and out and do all that. Yeah, you definitely run out of your hour of time, and
Darn.
you probably just transform in the middle of the street,
Ah.
which I think is great because then people are even extra horrified.
Like, Castros is satisfied with today.
Yeah, so you went from the creepy looking wolf to a basically full on devil right in front of them. I mean, your freakish mask, your tail, everything.
Right, he'll probably take off the mask now.
Roll a wisdom check for me real quick.
Oh. Well then. Oh! Not one.
You cannot take it off. In fact, when you put your hands up to grab the edge, you find that it's completely smooth to your skin.
So it is like the mask. I feel like I just imagine like Castor's kind of like fumbling with it for a second, and then it just goes, "Well, isn't this a fun predicament?" He's like, "Oh well."
So, Dane, you want to try to get it off the idiot, or should I?
I'm gonna have to leave it on him for a bit.
Alrighty.
He'll try again later. For now, he'll just terrify more people as he walks by them.
Actually, we're gonna have you wait outside so you don't terrify the people that we're supposed to try and get information from.
Castos is offended, but will oblige and stay outside.
Yeah.
Additionally, Castros, you feel two things. You feel a sudden, well, not so much sudden. It like crept up on you, but you feel a intense need to follow the rules, and at the same time taking immense pleasure out of scaring these people and causing them to run away.
By me again. Castros has an urge to follow the rules.
Yes.
This is true witchcraft. But also is really enjoying the feeling of scaring people.
Yes.
I mean, okay. Weird. So, like, I feel like, so since he failed the wisdom check, I'm pretty sure either Castros probably won't notice that he suddenly has the urge to follow the rules. He's just super complacent now. They just tell him, like, hey, wait outside, and they're, like, expecting, like, a big fight out of him or whatever, and he's just like, okay, and he just sits down outside.
Nice.
Alright. You guys go talk to this person.
Yep.
So you go in and you find the guy that you had spoken to before, just sitting down at his desk, uh, staring at a manuscript.
Okay. So I go up to him and say, I need your help again. We need to find out who Theseus is.
He very slowly raises his head. Oh, hello. Can you not talk so fast? Didn't catch that.
God no.
Lordy. Okay. We need to learn about someone named Theseus.
He he eventually does answer. It takes a very long. He has to go and get a book, which you just. I mean, he is moving just horribly slow.
Snail pace.
Like these.
As
Oh,
slow as
just
Jeremy or slower?
say that again.
As slow as Jeremy or slower?
Oh, like yeah, Jeremy could win against the. Jeremy would be the hare in the tortoise and hare race against this guy right now.
Jeremy's a pretty laid back sloth.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he's like you guys are like racing snails, and this guy's a slug. You know.
All right.
So he does eventually like hand you he hands you a history book and then starts to talk and you can I mean it's so boring. You if you really want to listen to him, you're gonna have to make like an intelligence check.
Oh God. All right. Well.
Constitution save against boredom.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Dane. Oh crap! No, that's bad. Even with. Yeah, that's still just a 7. So.
Yeah, he's talking so slow that you actually forget the beginning of his sentence by the time he gets to the end.
Well, Ray can try, but she ain't too intelligent. Shut up! That's a 2.
Yeah, it's you say you're gonna try, but you're just like, nope, that ain't happening.
Yeah, raised ADHD kicks in.
Only if you had Castros with you with a +2 intelligence.
Dane has a +2. So
Nonetheless,
anyway,
you do have a history book.
yes. So I will very respectfully pull the history book from this person's hand and flip through it.
You see him look shocked in slow motion as basically the book goes from his perspective just went flying out of his hand at Mach speed.
Yes, but there's a good chance I might actually be able to read it and hand it back to him before he realizes that it's gone.
This is a good point.
It's like watching the Flash work.
or Dash in The Incredibles put the thumbtack on the chair.
Yeah.
Just, he right there! He moved!
Anyway,
so what you find in reading this is that Theseus is actually historical. So those skeletons had been there a long time.
Okay.
But there are a lot of stories. It's going to take you some time to get through it because apparently this history covers everything from his birth through his death.
Okay. All right.
Let's skip to death, find out where he went.
Well, no, I'm probably have to read the whole thing. All right. Well, I
Would be Theseus as in Greek mythology Theseus?
I guess okay, so I'm just gonna pat the guy on the shoulder, kind of give him a little bow of gratitude for the book, and then just kind of head on out the door, so
Okay.
I can read it at my leisure. It's not like he's ever gonna catch me.
He's gonna be like, there was a dwarf-colored streak here.
This is like, how fast do you pat him on the shoulder? Like you might be obliterating his shoulder bone.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean I'm moving normal speed. It's
Yeah.
not like it's not like really mass times acceleration.
It's a hammer. Well,
Well,
so I feel like he won't
that's
like
just
he'll just be
shit.
he'll just suddenly like you'll pat him on the shoulder and then like you'll like walk away and then like he just like you see his reaction like as he kind of like moves back from it or like is startled by it. Like
He feels a little breeze on his a little pressure on his shoulder, and then he's all alone. So anyway, okay, cool. So I got the book now. I guess I kind of take it back with me to the inn.
Okay.
Go up to my room and start reading.
Well, as you are walking down the street on your way to the inn, you see a familiar face walking through the town, looking back and forth, just observing all of these people, is Alpha.
Oh,
Alpha.
Yo, Rust Bucket, you're finally back.
Oh, hello, friends. How are you doing?
where'd you go, Alpha?
Oh, my progenitor required upgrades of me in order to be able to better assist my mission out in the world of spreading the word of Gond. Also, he provided me with this. And Alpha just holds up this orb with a fuse on the top. It says, I was telling him about the exploding baby issue that I was having trouble comprehending, and he said this might assist me with understanding the differences between exploding babies and explosions in general.
So you're saying that your creator gave you a bomb?
Oh, yes, of course. How else will I better qualify my experiments?
All right.
Castros loves this.
Make sure you keep that somewhere safe.
Oh, of course, the experiment must proceed with great observation. Bond would be displeased otherwise.
So what other kind of upgrades did you end up getting?
Useful ones. Why do you ask?
Can you go into specifics, please? Details.
Yes, I can.
Then do it!
Oh, well, I am far more efficient at traversing the world and operating in protection of the unit that we have bonded together.
Aw. Cute.
Okay.
Let us spread the word of God more efficiently, but I am worried about this town. Everything seems to be very peculiar.
We've
Well,
noticed.
Yes, that's what happened when we set Abloso free. He seems to be
Oh.
messing with the time stream.
That is very unfortunate. We should rectify this, as these people seem to be having a difficult time understanding my preachings.
Yes, I quite agree. Were you given any pertinent instructions on how to deal with this issue?
Yes, we turn to you. Find a solution.
Okay, thank you. All right,
You're
so
welcome.
He's trying.
at least he's trying. Very trying.
Wait, quick question. Does Alpha have a fear of Castros because of the mask?
Say he finds it more fascinating than anything.
I would say no, just because he's... Oh, no, wait, he's a monk, not a cleric.
Yeah.
What's your normal alignment? I don't remember.
Lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral. What's your... I don't have your character sheet in front of me. I'm trying to think what this might be. Wisdom? What's your like resting wisdom?
15.
15? No, you're good. With that alignment and that wisdom, I think you're just like yeah, whatever. It's and because of what you are, I mean, a constructed being, it's like it makes sense that you're just like you're still my companion. Whatever.
Yeah. Finds it more curious on the shifting of the features than anything.
No.
A point of analysis.
Yes. That was just I just wanted to be sure on that front.
His face is constructed. Why should his companions not have constructed faces?
Yeah.
And you're probably used to people looking different, like when beards get shaved or kids grow up or whatever.
Yep. Okay. So,
He
back
hasn't
to
been
the
around
inn.
long enough like to see kids growing up very much yet.
Yeah, this is true. All right. Well, I've got homework to do, so I go back to the inn and kind of settle down on my bed and read about Theseus's life.
All right, so you start going through it. It's quite long. Apparently, he was quite the person, almost like a demigod of like a combination of a godly parent and a human. And
Mm-hmm.
as a result, lived with all these blessings, and so they believed that he was able to do basically anything. And chances are that actually, if anyone could, defeat one of the old ones, that him or someone like him very likely would be capable.
Okay.
As you go through, you read about all sorts of crazy battles that he was in, how he led military campaigns and was a mighty general, even commanded like naval ships amazingly. And you get all the way through, and then you're thinking, okay, well, obviously, where are we going to find him? And you start reading one of these stories about an area far to the east that had to be sailed to, that he had disappeared and was chained to a rock there until he was set free under the condition that at the time of his death he would return.
Okay. So when he dies, he's supposed to return to the rock.
Yes.
Okay.
To find a rock.
Yeah.
I'm doing my own research on the side for creatures that casters can turn into. I know exactly what he's doing while Dane is reading up.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Alpha is just looking over his shoulder the entire time.
While Dane's laying down in bed, Alpha's just standing there looking over his shoulder.
Well, if he's laying in bed while reading, then he's laying on the ground or next to him, trying to get an idea of what he's reading.
Oh, great. Okay. So in the story, so I have to. Did the book say what country it was?
It
Or-
it referred to a land that you did not recognize. That's Phalerius.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Well, that's fine. I just know it's far to the east. So I guess our next move is to go to the nearest seaport, or find some kind of transportation east.
Okay. You are somewhat inland right now, so you will have to leave the town and follow one of the caravan routes on foot to the east.
Okay. Unless, well, Alpha, did you say that you can travel better now?
Of course.
Okay. Are you like able to like fly or something?
Oh, don't be silly. I have not reached that level of progression yet. I require more development of my skills and comprehension of this construct.
Oh, okay. So you can't get us to an eastern seaport any faster than us walking and following a caravan route then.
Well, I can walk faster than you, but I do not believe that will be of assistance to you.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. All right, just checking. All right.
Oh.
Well,
It is
I
good to
guess-
check. Information is the key to success.
So I've been told. All right. Oh, about what time is it by the time I get done reading this book?
It's quite a thick and hefty tome, so if you were reading a lot of it, taking it in, it's probably pretty late in the day, like into the afternoon, pretty far. Maybe late afternoon, early evening.
Perfect.
So we should probably rest for the night.
So we should probably take a long rest and then get an early start in the morning.
Okay, give me a quick. Roll me a 1d20 and tell me what you get.
No. All of us?
Yeah, everyone that's sleeping there tonight.
I got a 2.
2? Okay.
I'm trying to think if Castros would be sleeping there. Because
Ray got a 17.
Okay.
I feel like there's a good chance Castros is probably either doing stuff in town in the middle of the night or sleeping in the woods.
Good point.
Well, on a side note, I discovered that rats are invincible. They have 1,000,000 condition immunities.
Yes, you could turn into a series of rats. I like it.
No, yeah, legit. You can turn into a swarm of rats.
That's insane. Anyway,
Anyways.
so
Castros did roll a 7, but I'm still probably gonna say he's either not sleeping tonight or he's in the woods.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how Alpha qualifies because Alpha never really sleeps, but he does go to inactive states when he meditates.
Yeah, we'll call that for this in this case. Go ahead and give me a roll.
7.
7. Okay. So everyone but Ray has just horrible tormented dreams, and even in your inactive state you have a memory file formed of the experience. It's terrible. It's like, oh, I know. You have a vision. You are in an open field. It is brilliant spring. The sun is on your face, and then suddenly the sun itself goes dark. Everything becomes dim, and you hear a cracking sound, and there's an earthquake behind you. You turn. There's a tall mountain in the distance, and even this far away, you see it split open, and light comes pouring out of it, just lighting up the sky, and then a just enormous, giant, world-eating beast steps out from within, and then you wake up in a cold sweat.
fantastic.
I almost just because there was an earthquake and then a giant beast that stepped out. Can I please roll to see if Castros is actually disturbed by that, or because he's a druid, he's more like, the wonders of nature are, the powers of nature are so wonderful, or something like that. Can I please roll to see if he's just unfazed?
Sure, go for it.
What kind of roll would that be? Just
I don't even know.
What?
Here, I'm just gonna roll something, and I'll see if you beat it. Go ahead.
You got an 18.
Yeah, you interpret that as a spirit of nature and think it's cool.
Yes!
All right.
Perfect.
Castros is getting a MAGA hat in the mail.
I'm just
Make
Just
a
imagine,
sanctuary.
everybody else is so disturbed and whatever, and then Castros is just like, what a great dream, man. So fascinating.
Meanwhile, Ray slept like a rock.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
No, not. I was gonna make a joke on that.
Oh.
Making a sanctuary great again.
Oh. We at a sanctuary do not hold with the comments or opinions of the people that play on it.
Yes.
Anyways.
Anyway, okay, so
At least in our world, when we chant "build the wall," it actually makes sense.
Yes, slaves, get to work.
Oh, so Dane gets up. He's got a bit of a headache. His his eyes feel like someone dumped a bucket of sand under his eyelids in each eye, and he's just kind of very tired and a bit grumpy, which is not like him because he had such a bad night. So, but he manages to stumble downstairs. He doesn't wait for anyone to make him breakfast. He makes his own because he doesn't want to wait until dinner to get his breakfast. So he'll just fry himself up some eggs and some bacon and you know, give Ray some. I'm guessing Castros is still in the woods somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He can
One-
fend for himself.
One thing you notice is the food stores here are depleting. They're obviously not being restocked.
yep. Okay.
Bad night, Dane.
Yep. Terrible nightmares.
Can't relate.
I feel like Catsource is just gonna like pop in through the window or something, like after like waking up and just coming back to town, and he's just like, "I had the greatest dream last night, guys." Like,
Anyway. Okay. So not a lot I can do. So we'll just kind of have to kind of pack up whatever supplies we can. Luckily, we're probably moving so fast by now that there's really no way anyone can catch us. So
Oh yeah, you are to the normal townsfolk. It is the true Fryovision. Like you are just a streak.
yep. So anyway, so we'll kind of head out. I think unfortunately this town is probably doomed because there's no way we can fix whatever's wrong before they starve to death because they're so slow. So anyway, so I guess we
If everything about them is slowed down, including their metabolism, then they have like a year before they starve to death.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
yeah, well, we can hope that's the case. So anyway, okay, so we'll start on the caravan heading east.
so I feel like as well. Sorry, I was gonna add this. Last night, because Castros was thinking this as a direwolf about helping his teammates when he's in wild shape. So I feel like last night in the woods, he was like sewing together a little pouch out of either like animal skin or nature, like vines, leaves. Anyway, so he was sewing that together. Would he have to make like a check?
Yeah, if you're crafting, yeah, give me a skill. You probably don't, do you have a crafting skill?
No.
Do it out of nature. Yeah, let's use your. Oh God, sleight of hand. I guess I'm having a hard time. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Roll nature first, and then sleight of hand, and tell me what you get for each.
Well, nature was 13.
Okay.
Sleight of hand was a 16.
13 and 16. So, yeah, you find something. It's decent. You know, it's pretty good. Like it's whatever you located was a pretty good material to weave together. It'll be decently stout and strong.
Okay. So that's at least semi-successful. Okay, so sorry, Dane just wrote me a message.
About his possible source material for the bag.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been. Knowing Castros, he totally could have been like, this will be hilarious.
What,
Yeah.
like go to the sheep field and like castrate one of the rams so you have like a sheep scrotum pouch?
Yeah.
Close, but bold.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dane
bull, there you go.
said bull scrotum, yes. Anyway, so before they set off, he's gonna cast good berries and fill it up. And those will be good for 24 hours, so.
Take out the balls, put in the berries. I like it.
So it's, to cast, just to see if it's successful, that would be, 16.
Oh yeah, you nailed it. They're excellently good berries.
Cool.
The goodest of berries.
Now I can give something to at least semi-support his teammates while he just goes and fights and does whatever.
Sweet. Well, you walk down the path, the four of you. Look like quite the crew. Not quite Wizard of Oz style, but close.
Really, really close.
Yeah, really close. One sec, we have,
Ray is Dorothy.
I guess,
I gotta be Dorothy.
because you're only female. And Alpha's obviously the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Dane is probably Scarecrow. Well, Scarecrow. Well, no, Casseros isn't cowardly at all. Yeah.
Either or. You're probably more than Lion because you can wild shape.
Well, yeah, but personality-wise, Casseros is nothing like the Lion.
Personality-wise, none of us are like the Wizard of Oz characters.
Well, this is
Anyway.
where you whoever the cowardly lion is, you just need the artificer to make you a gun because you don't need courage if you have a gun.
No, this is true.
Or can morph into animals at will.
And I still don't know why I gotta be the heroine.
Because never mind.
Just never mind.
Anyway, all right. So we're walking to the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Well,
begun.
yes, you reach the port because of the wonderful things it does, and yeah, you find that there's the rumors have already reached this area, and there's some suspicion of you guys coming from that town because there was told of a great curse that had been befallen the town, and here you show up with some devilkin.
Oh, oops. I was gonna say, on their way there, I'm gonna say Casseros can try to take off the mask again.
You try, and it just does not come off.
Great.
All right. So we're gonna have to do something about that.
I agree, but Casseros tries and fails, so...
We might have to get you like a cloak with a hood or something so that your
Well, it doesn't matter, it's magical. I feel like the aura will still be there, even if it's covered.
No. Anyway, so townspeople are looking at us with suspicion.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're just gonna kind of work our way down to the docks and see if we can find a captain that's willing to sail us east.
Okay. Let's see. Give me a little 1d12. I'm just curious what you get.
Okay. Just 4.
4. It takes you a while. I mean, you've got to go through quite a few people that's even willing to talk to you, and eventually you actually find a captain that trying to think of how we should describe him. He looks
Look-alike
like yeah, he looked like a man, like a very angry lawn gnome.
Oh, fantastic. Okay,
Is he
cool.
the size of a lawn gnome?
Yeah, he is. He's the size and shape of a lawn gnome, but he looks very angry.
Cool, alright.
All right. So I approach him and I'm like, I need to book a passage for my companions and I going east.
East? How far east?
What's the name of that country?
It started with an F.
Um,
Oh yeah, don't make me look it up. I'll just say you remember it and you say it to him, and he can't go further than the straits. Dangerous. Very, very costly. Very costly.
how costly?
Oh, would have to be worth the entire ship to make that journey. What do you have for me? Do you have gold? Jewels? Trade?
Well, we're just starting our adventuring careers, so we really don't have a lot of money or anything. So, look at it this way: this is your chance to do your part to help save the world. Because the town where we came from, everyone is moving super slow, and everyone is having nightmares. And I can just imagine how that's going to spread, and it'll eventually catch up to you too. So you might want to just help us kind of help us in our quest, and that way you and anyone that you care about doesn't end up having nightmares every night for the rest of their lives.
He scratches his beard for a moment, extends 2 middle fingers, and says, "If you absolutely can't come up with anything else, come back in a while. I'll think it over."
Alright, well.
All right.
Question. I want
Yeah.
to see if, not a question necessarily, but I want to see if Castros can make a big brain move here to try and remove the mask still, because he does realize that he's just slightly hindering his allies and whatnot, and he's kind of sick of wearing it. So, can he use Wild Shape to turn into, like, a fly or something, and then make it so that when he transforms, then his stuff just, like, falls off of him rather than merge with him?
That's a interesting thought. Let's try it. Sure. Roll. God, I'm trying to think. Well, here I'm gonna roll a 1d20 and you roll a 1d20 and you do your wild shape and let's see if it works.
I don't know what the buttons are, what the trick is for a wild shape.
No, I'm just doing a high low. So you I mean you can roll for the wild shape, but I want to see.
Let me see if there's anything that can add to it.
Yeah, she didn't roll well.
Yeah, rolled a 3.
Yeah, that's not going to be good enough. You transform and then you transform back, and the gnome does witness this weird thing, and it's just like, you people are freaky.
Darn it. Darn. That was a smart idea. The execution was not there.
So do you want to continue looking around, see what you can find?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. Actually, I know, we'll use, hey Alpha, roll a perception check.
Not very good. I rolled a 3.
All
Hey,
is
what
well.
is that?
Never mind.
Oh my god.
Alpha's still around looking for inspecting the town, trying to see if there's anyone who can accept the teachings of Gond.
Or anyone who's pregnant.
That too. One or the other, multitasking.
Yes, you do find a pregnant person, and eventually, I'll say, Ray, you notice that Alpha just start wandering off after a pregnant woman.
I ain't even gonna do nothing.
You better go get him before he's thrown in jail for harassment.
Fine, I'll get the rust bucket. Alpha, get over here.
This may be a chance to observe the process and see about the data.
Tell you what, Alpha, if I ever meet a man and I end up pregnant, you can watch my pregnancy. How about that?
Oh, this may be excellent. Do you have any intentions?
Tell you what, I'll start looking if you stop following that poor woman.
Alpha just points to the party and says, "We have options. You may begin immediately if you choose."
Castros is absolutely losing his mind on the ground laughing.
Let me tell you this, Alpha. These two ain't too good for reproduction. Let me just say that.
Oh, fascinating. Can you tell me why?
Sure, on the way over to finding something to do about this situation. But first, you gotta stop annoying that poor woman.
Oh, excellent. I look forward to you enlightening me on this subject.
What, you're saying Cassos won't make a good father?
That's exactly what she's saying.
Now, see here, Alpha. Now, there are some people in the world who just aren't made to reproduce. Because, they just don't have the right genes. And for my reasoning, these two are idiots.
Is that what leads to the exploding babies?
Yes.
So how do you select the genome type that you are wishing to procreate?
I mean, usually someone strong, caring, probably. Someone who will pay for your drinks at a bar, Those are all very good traits to have.
Alpha just kind of looks at his hands and says, "Can you not just simply create one of these instead of trying to leave it up to chance?"
I mean, I don't know if a material being can reproduce.
Well, I was produced, therefore I believe I may be able to reproduce.
This is your benevolent GM! And this is an ad break. Thank you for listening. Please join us at patreon.com/adzentuary, where you can sign up and ask us questions, which we'll answer in a monthly Q&A session. Or, at a higher tier, you can become an NPC that permanently is a part of our fantasy world. Or even higher still, you can get all of our merchandise as we invent it. Give us reviews, let us know what you think. All of it will be for sale eventually on adzentuary.com. But for now, if you could please support us, we're at patreon.com/adzentuary. And thank you for joining the adventure.
Alright, time to have a Birds and the Bees chat with Alpha. Ray, you're up.
Alrighty, I'm gonna take Alpha to the side and talk to him about the birds and the bees.
Oh God. Just let's truncate this discussion, and I'll just have you just roll your persuasion.
Persuasion.
Persuasion?
Yes.
I think it would be persuasion versus wisdom, because Alpha is not the smartest, but he does have, some general, oh my gosh, I rolled a nat 1.
Yeah. So you never don't worry about that persuasion roll. Everything you say just is perfectly accepted. Like, yep, that is how it works.
Fascinating.
Let's see what you get.
I'm gonna roll anyway just to see what I get.
So much for Alpha's great wisdom that he's been working on developing.
Oh my god. Anyway, so Casseros is losing his mind laughing. Ray and Alpha are completely preoccupied.
I mean, someone's gotta tell them.
What is is Dane, should I roll for perception to see if I notice anything?
What I was thinking of was something that was very specific to Alpha.
Oh, okay. So never mind.
So nothing that you would really particularly be interested in, or have from a character perspective, nothing that you would have noticed.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So am I guess I can keep looking for other captains that might be willing to take me if the gnome is not all that into it.
Well, I'm gonna say that you don't. You keep walking, though. Eventually, you get down near the end of the dock, and you actually see another gnome come walking down the way, looking just really pissed off. And you think at first it's the same gnome, except he has a different colored hat on. The previous guy was red. This one's green, and he's carrying something with him that's in his left hand. It looks like some kind of a large chicken. In his right hand, a bloody knife.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So I surreptitiously kind of loosen my axe in its sheath and kind of say, "Good afternoon."
What's so good about it?
I was just making small talk there, Mr. Gnome.
Oh, here you come, Small.
What's? Oh, yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. Listen, I'm a dwarf. You're a gnome. We're both on the short side. Don't read too much into this. What you doing with the pink chicken?
Huh? I'm hungry. What do you think?
Castros likes this guy.
Well, you're walking around with a bloody knife. Someone could get the wrong idea. What are you so grumpy about?
What? I'm not grumpy. I'm just me. Piss off.
All
You
right.
know what, Casper? I agree with you. I like this gnome too.
All right. This gnome guy is pretty lucky that Dane's a pretty happy-go-lucky, even-keeled fellow, because otherwise he'd probably punch the guy in the nose. So it's just like, whatever, man. You do you, and he just kind of walks by him.
Okay. The gnome continues down for a while, and he actually sees the conversation going on between Alpha and Ray, and is immediately intrigued. And you see him kind of take his knife. Well, we'll say Ray, you catch just from your passive perception out of the corner of your eye. He takes his knife and quickly wipes it and kind of puts it away and wobbles over to you and says, "Hey there. Yeah, you hungry?"
Not particularly, no.
Ah, well, I'm gonna go make dinner, and that's my ship right over there. If you're interested on taking a tour.
Alrighty, Evelyn, I'll do you proud as my mentor. Alrighty, I'm flirting with this guy so we can get a free ride to where we need to go.
So he right this way, and I'm assuming you follow him.
Uh huh.
So he goes walking down, and you actually see him go up to that first gnome and kind of push him back, and then walk onto the boat. And you realize that it's the same boat that you had approached before.
Oh, okay.
One sec. I just thought, so as, like, Ray is walking away with this other gnome, that Castros is just gonna walk up to Alpha, like, put a hand on his shoulder, and just says, "The mating ritual has begun."
Oh, excellent. And Alpha just follows.
Okay, he's gonna be looking in through the portholes.
Oh God!
I ain't having intercourse with no gnome.
Well, I know you're just gonna be having a nice dinner, but you're gonna look over and you're gonna still see Alpha's face peeking in the window, taking notes.
Well, so anyway, you follow him up, and at first Alpha follows, and then the other gnome kind of peels him off to the side and says, "Hey, big guy, leave my brother to it. He doesn't like being disturbed."
Oh, I shall not disturb. I merely wish to observe.
Oh, you're one of those type, eh? I get you. Well, I'll tell you what. Give me a little coin, and I'll let you peek through the porthole.
Oh, excellent. And Alpha just kind of rummages through for some change. I don't even know how much he would offer. Just like a handful of copper coins, whatever. Is it? Will this suffice?
The guy's just like, yeah, sure. He just takes it all.
Excellent. And Alpha just keeps following.
So you get on board. I'm assuming, Dane, you're going to like show up at some point after observing this transaction.
Well, yeah. Apparently, I go to the end of the dock, see if there's nothing else, and then come back to talk to the gnome in the red hat. But I noticed Alpha and Ray by that time walking up on the ship, so I just kind of surreptitiously follow along, kind of stowing away, so to speak.
Well, then let's jump into the gnome speaking to Ray. So, what brings you out this way?
We're looking for a ship to bring us to a land east.
Oh, well, my ship can sail east. How far are you going?
Well, your friend out front wasn't too keen on taking us in the first place.
Oh, well, he's not my friend. He's my brother. Yes, yeah. Well, screw him. I own the ship. It's mine. I'll take you where you want to be. You know, I got a thing for tall ladies.
I feel like Castros has just like, I want Castros. One sec. I know he failed the wild trip before, but I want him to turn into something small and follow Alpha up on the ship and just kind of watch through the porthole with Alpha.
I'll
Maybe
go for it.
he just turns into a single rat and sneaks up on the ship.
Cool. Yeah, you could like run up the rope line.
Yeah.
All right. So you do that, and the gnome continues to prep out dinner, and then says, "Oh, now we have to let it cook. Come, sit. Let's talk." And he lays back, pulls out his pipe, and suddenly gets the really like seductive looking eyes, putting on a little smile for you. It's like, so we could sail out tomorrow if you'd like.
That'd be mighty fine. You guys owe me one. I swear to God.
So he anyway, you do have a nice, discussion and exchange information, whatever. And
I see it more as the gnome is trying to chase Ray around the table, and she's like running, kind of running. They're running.
It's a Pepe Le Pew cartoon.
It's a Pepe Le Pew cartoon. Exactly.
oh, I was thinking the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, where the winches get chased around on the building.
Right? Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so yeah, sure, we can have an evening like that. I'm fine with it.
I am not fine with it.
All right. Well, eventually. All right. Fine. Then there's a little bit of he keeps it. How about this? He keeps making advances. You keep rejecting just brilliantly. And at the end of it all, he's like, well, if we're gonna be traveling, at least let me know everything is going to go well. Give me at least one kiss.
Come on, Ray, give him a kiss. Castros and Alpha are like looking in the window, like go, go, go. Castros is gonna like just like
whisk. Castros is going go, 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 and
Yeah.
Alpha's just taking notes.
Yeah, Castros is gonna whisper to Alpha and just be like, Alpha, a kiss is a gateway.
Fascinating.
After this, y'all owe me. I'm kissing the gnome.
Awesome. You kiss the gnome, and he like. His butt kind of bounces up in the air. His toes flutter. Apparently, this is just gnome physiology. That's what they do. And he, his cheeks get all flushed and red, and he's just elated. Nice. So, it was excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me for dinner. I'm sure you have things that you'll be needing to bring aboard. I can send for some help, or if you'd just like to get whatever you need, join me here at dawn, and we will sail with the tide.
Alright, will do.
Castros is gonna hold this over her head forever.
This would be a bad idea.
Ray is gonna strangle Castros every time he brings it up.
Either that or she's gonna shoot Jeremy.
Castros would murder you if you shot Jeremy.
Right after you leave, you see the other little unpleasant gnome go inside, and you hear some cursing in gnomish back and forth between the two of them.
Neat.
Fantastic. All right. So I guess we go find somewhere to spend the night, and we're back at the boat at first light.
Yep.
I don't know why you're looking at me like that. I never encourage you to do that.
Y'all buy me at least one drink.
Is that what you look for in a man?
I need whiskey. Get it.
She needs to get the taste of gnome out of her mouth.
By replacing it with wood extract. Love it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's all it is. I realized that the other day I was talking to some guys, and it's like, people, you do vanilla beans, and even with some alcohol, you get vanilla extract. You do oak with some alcohol, and you get whiskey.
Yeah.
Wood extract. Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit more to it than that, but yeah, by and large.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
I like the extremely simplified summaries, though. Like Merry and Pippin, they were just stealing some vegetables, and things got way out of hand.
Right. Well, only because they bumped into Frodo and Sam.
No, but I'm just saying they think of that progression, like they were just taking some veggies, and then holy crap.
Well, but you think about it, they actually came out a lot better in the end by doing that.
Oh, of course, but it's just funny to have that, put it in that perspective.
Yeah, the trousers of time bifurcating, the road less traveled.
Oh yes, well.
It's from the book Guards.
Oh yes, I forgot. I actually have all of those radio plays.
Oh, okay. Yes, but that was one of the things we're talking about, the trousers of time bifurcating, and I'm guessing in one, Carrot becomes the king because I'm guessing he was of that long lost lineage, but nope, it continues on and he's just a guard.
Nice. Yeah. I didn't. Good, because I didn't want to get into the discussion of Frost's poem and how every high school gets it wrong. Anyway, where the hell were we? Oh, I was going to say, you're on a dock, so you could probably pay a copper piece to be, like hung over the rope for the night to sleep. You used to be able to do that in England. It would cost 1 penny, and they had just a rope you just like bend over and fall asleep.
Yeah, I don't think I'm quite that cheap. Honestly, I don't see why we couldn't just kind of stay on the boat.
Well, you probably could. I mean, if they're in there doing their thing, you probably just
Sneak on.
Yeah, I'd already snuck on. We all snuck on, so I'm probably all comfy in the bow of the ship or something, or down with the cargo.
Yeah, I guess Castor's will sleep on the boat too, but he'll like climb up somewhere a bit higher. Not exactly the crow's nest, but like maybe on top of the cabin or something, just so that he's not on the floor and he likes to be high up.
Anyway, Ray is probably drowning her sorrows in the nearest local tavern.
Yeah.
Of course, dockside taverns can be a little bit rough, so you gotta watch yourself.
I think I'm
True.
Don't worry, she has Alpha following her around to monitor the post-mating ritual. Or whatever it would be known as. Yeah, because he's curious to see what happens after the attempted coupling process.
Well, Alpha, what happens now is he wasn't. No. Just no, Alpha. I'll find someone else. It ain't gonna be a gnome.
That he was not worthy.
Yes, he was not worthy. He was as we were chatting, he was just a disgrace to Gond. There was no way I could harbor his children. No way.
A disgrace to Gond. Should he be eliminated?
No. He's not that bad. We how about this? On the ride over to where we need to go, you can teach him all about Gond. And you'll probably
Excellent.
So,
A proper male for a proper mate.
Anyway, so,
you guys spend the night on the docks. You're or on the ship. Dawn breaks. You hear the rooster crow, and Dane, you wake up to a couple of gnomes. Not either the ones you met, but two other ones. They must be crew. Apparently in the nude. Just kind of kick your feet. Hey, you passengers here too? What are you doing there?
I was trying to sleep. Well, what are you doing?
Oh, we're getting ready to head out. You gonna get up?
Uh, sure. So I get up.
What else am I supposed to do?
I'm wearing my clothes. I'm definitely not taking them off.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, I would expect nonetheless. You're a dwarf after all.
Right? So
So
what?
modest.
Yes, pretty much. What are you guys doing?
What? Well, I'm on the yard line and she's on the sails.
Are you two planning on being naked the entire time?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. We'll see. And he just like
And
starts wandering off.
fantastic. Okay. How close are we to sailing? I'm guessing we're pretty close.
Oh yeah, you can tell that it's high tide and it's getting ready to go out, so they're getting prepped. Like they're battening things down and untying leads, and they're getting ready to go.
No, that's unfortunate because if I'd had a little bit more time, I probably would have gone and gotten a barrel of ale.
Forget.
Yeah, pretty much try and drink myself into forgetfulness on this trip. I imagine Ray would be more than happy to join me on that. But apparently we don't have time, so probably good for my liver anyway.
Well, as dawn breaks, the old gnome was good to his word, and the ship set sail,
All
and
right.
you head off to the east.
Like Castros will just spend his morning snacking on the good berries because it's been 24 hours, so they don't do healing, but you can still eat them. So he'll just be snacking on them. Like he'll eat one, he'll feed one to Jeremy.
Nice. And once everything gets kind of settled down, they're underway. Captain doesn't have to give any orders. He finds Ray and kind of walks up. And let's see, he's about half your height, so he kind of rests a hand right behind your knee and says, "So, we're on the sea. You know, the most comfortable place to stay on my ship is in my quarters."
At this point in time, Dane comes up kind of right behind him and says, "Hey, you making a move on my fiance?"
He looks shocked and turns. "Fiance? Uh, you? What? Impossible! Such a creature as this with you?"
Yep, pretty much.
And he immediately whips his hand away and he looks up at her and just in disgust. "Well, truly, the old saying holds for you elves. You lower your standards just to raise your average." And he stomps off.
Dane, I'm gonna give you about 5 seconds to run as fast as you can and hide before I clobber you in the head.
Like that's a fine attitude to take. I just saved you 3 months of getting hit on. You're welcome. And then I walk off.
Well, I mean, okay, Ray. To be fair, it was either have Dane convince the gnome that you're his fiance, or you potentially get pregnant with a gnome baby. Like,
So during this whole exchange, Alpha's watching and goes up to Dane and says, "I am a little bit confused. Do ships work in straight lines where once you begin, they cannot go to any other destination?"
Nope. Depends on the wind.
Oh,
But if you know
so
that's good,
what,
he's not going to change course.
were we not intending on using this vessel to go to our destination versus some other destination? As I believe there must be more than one destination eastward.
No, we're still intending.
So, I am confused by this play. Would it not have been more beneficial to have our party member exchange these breeding services for our destination rather than canceling our trip immediately as soon as we begin?
We're not canceling the trip, Alpha.
So, what is obligating the captain to maintain the end destination now?
You messed up, Dane.
I love that he used. I love that you used breeding services.
Yeah, so there are some things that you just don't expect your companions to do, and this is one of them. So I was trying to help her out.
Curious.
Yeah.
But is this not hindering the greater good of the world?
He hasn't changed course yet, Alpha. Don't panic.
I am not panicking. I am simply trying to analyze the situation.
Well,
Curious indeed.
we can always make some kind of arrangement later if he does in fact start to change course.
Oh, perhaps you may be able to assist.
No.
Oh. Do you suppose I may be able to offer my services?
You can try. I yeah, go for it. I'm guessing he's not going to be interested, but by all means, offer your services.
Very curious, but I do not know how to perform these deeds.
I'm sure if he takes you up on your offer, he'll give you pointers.
Curious indeed.
Don't go. Don't.
Hey, he's talking to me. You're fuming somewhere else right now, so
Casper's just gonna like observe from up high somewhere.
I know you're probably chortling the whole way.
Can he try to take the mask off again?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do a. We'll first do a wisdom check.
21.
Holy crap. Yes. You are able to peel it off from you start at the back and it is so difficult. You can feel it's like stuck to you and you are like peeling your own flesh almost as it comes off.
Just gonna like turn the mask over, look at it again, and be like, "Alright, cool, use sparingly."
Yeah, and then you find out that after you pull the mask off, you have the worst case of acne since you've been wearing that thing for the last 3 months.
Can tieflings have acne?
I don't know.
Oh, I was thinking more since it was basically his skin that, the pores basically just pass through.
I guess, I don't know.
So now he looks like something from Attack on Titan, where he has no skin on his face.
Oh no, there's still skin there because I mean the one benefit is he is a tiefling. I'm guaranteed that the effects would have been far worse if he was something else like say a half elf or a dwarf or something along those lines.
Okay. Anyway, so so finally got the mask off. Ray is I'm assuming she's hiding somewhere right now. Trying to stay away from any kind of gnome and me. So what is Alpha doing? Dane's just gonna kind of keep an eye on the captain and make sure that he's not gonna change heading all of a sudden.
Alphys is kind of exploring and this like observing what goes on.
Well, after let's see. After half an hour or so, your observations, walking around, the captain's door flies open, and you can tell he's just fuming mad, and his brother's there alongside of him, and he points down, and he's pointing at Dane specifically, and he's like, "All right, off of the ship with him."
So we are in the middle of the ocean, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I draw my axe and I'm like, you might want to rethink that. This could end up very badly for you.
One okay. You notice that the two other gnomes, the naked ones, are up in the sails, and really quick, make a dex save.
Ugh. Oh my god. You gotta stop having me roll these dice. It just does not turn out well. That's just a 7. Rolled a 7.
Okay, yeah, a little too low. So
Yeah.
thankfully, he's also rather uncoordinated. So what ends up happening is the little nude male gnome comes swinging down, and he was intending to attack, but failed in doing so. So ends up just smacking right into your face. So you got like gnome crotch to the face.
Okay. All right. Well, how much does a gnome weigh?
How much do you weigh? I guess.
I am apparently about 170 pounds.
Yeah, they're gonna be a fraction of that. Let's put them at like 90.
Okay. So he staggers me a little bit, but
Yeah, he staggers you, knocks you back, so you'll have a momentary disadvantage, but other than that, you're more or less fine. He's prone on the ground. He's hurting.
well, I imagine he's naked and he just hit an armored dwarf.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And the captain then points over at Ray, and there's some gnomish, and then it clears up, and he says, "Deceiver, you led me on. I was giving you transport. I was so happy." Gah! And his brother then jumps down and starts running at Dane.
Okay.
I just seeing if anyone else is going to do anything, because he does have a dash action capability, but I wanted to see if Castros or Alpha does anything.
I'd have maybe one thing. Casters just, if this would be, well, if it's a bonus action, then maybe. I also, because Wild Shape is a bonus action if you're in Circle of the Moon. So I almost want Castros to turn into a giant goat, and just like ram him like off the edge, or like just like circle behind him since he's already charging, and like use that momentum and then just ram him off the edge of the boat.
You can just go 90 degrees. Like if he's running straight one way, you just wild shape and then headbutt him 90 degrees. So it's he ends up like at a 45 flying overboard.
Yeah.
No, I'm good with that. Go ahead and well, here first, roll me a 1d20 and tell me what you get. I just want to see what you do to hit with those horns.
What, to hit?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're taking a strike at him.
Yeah. So it's 12.
You hit him, and his save failed. He rolled a 2. So yeah, you got him square on, and he is flying. You hear a bloop and a little splash, and that's it.
Nice.
Okay.
As a giant goat, just for fun, like Castros is just gonna like, do like the bull like scrape hoof thing, and like threaten all the other gnomes around.
Meanwhile, Alpha is simply confused and turns and says, "Is this all part of the mating ritual?"
Yes.
No. Stop
Wait.
confusing me. We're just gonna keep talking
Wait,
about
the goat says, "Meh." And the dwarf says, "Oh."
All right. Anyway, so Dane looks at the captain and says, "Listen, you've never had a chance with her. Do you want us to help you fish your brother out of the ocean or not?"
He grumbles and yells, "Man overboard!" And then the other naked gnome swings down and successfully grabs him.
Okay, perfect. All right.
I mean, barely. It was close to a failure.
All right. Ugh. All right, so I guess I need to talk. Well, I should talk to the cap. Anyway, so I should probably go talk to the captain here, kind of convince him that he needs to help us.
Okay, roll persuasion.
Um, no, so that's just an 11.
It's not very good. He's he was, you know, I was pretty pissed. I understand what you're doing. I'm not a I'm not an angry gnome. I'm not. I'm persuadable. I'm a man willing to make a deal. Now I realize you've got an engagement that you've got to keep, but we're on the sea, and you know what they say: different ports, different warts. So tell you what, you guys can stay down there, but she has to come up and just spend the night in my cabin. Don't have to do nothing. I just want some companionship on these nights.
I will be willing to offer my assistance if that is what you require. I have no compunction, and I believe there's much I can learn.
Yeah, he can hold the candle. I don't care.
Oh, excellent.
You can. What did you say? You can hold the candle.
Yeah, he's basically like a glorified, candlestick.
All right. Anyway, so I'm like, well, that's going to be up to her, but you have to realize that if she says no, no means no, and if you cross that line, you're going to go over the railing some dark night, and no one's going to pick you out of the water.
Yes, I understand, dwarf. No means gnome.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if she's going to want to spend every night in the cabin with you. So just so if she's not interested in spending any time with you, you're going to have to be gracious about it.
Oh, I understand. But also understand I can be very persuasive.
You guys owe me for this whole trip.
I like to imagine Castros is just like, okay, I did a thing, and now he's just gonna chill as a goat. I'm imagining Jeremy just like clinging to his horns, just kind of chilling there.
He's like, wee!
Anyway, Dane's not feeling incredibly comfortable with this. He doesn't like the idea of Ray being coerced into anything.
I mean, Alpha's going to be there the whole time.
Yes,
the
but
whole time.
Alpha's not really a protector in this instance. He's more
A bystander.
a bystander at best and a hindrance at worst.
And the captain also leans out the door, and you hear him yell something in Gnomish. And then a minute later, the little naked gnome female comes walking in, and the captain says, "By the way, this is Trudy. She's here to normally man the ropes, but she took a liking to you. She says she likes the beard."
Everyone's just hooking up on the sea.
Yeah.
It's the love boat.
Oh my god.
Castros will never.
I want off this horny gnome boat right now.
Yeah, it's like hedonism at sea.
Castros will never find love.
The open sea, the only law is love.
Anyway,
She looks at you and she says, "Well, there, aren't you feeling a little gnomely?"
no, I'm not. I've got a lot on my mind right now. I've got I need to save the world there, Trudy, so no room for love.
Aww. Well, sometimes two gnomes make a right, but just saying.
Well, I'll keep you in mind if I get really, really desperate.
She turns and kind of lowers her head, but still kind of wiggles her booty for you as she walks away.
And meanwhile, Alpha asks her as she passes by, says, Is it true that you are not able to have love if you are in the process of saving the world?
He goes, I don't think I'm able to have love at all. And she walks and she starts singing, looking for love in all the wrong places.
Huh, fascinating. This whole organic reproduction process is very, very interesting indeed. Babies may explode, you're unable to have love if you are saving the world. Curious how you keep wanting to proceed with it. Very curious indeed.
I mean, we can't really live without it, so, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Why not?
Cause then we'd all die out from old age, and if we ain't reproducing, then there's no one to take up our steed once we're gone.
But the power source that is allowing me to function here was once an organic being. I do not understand why you cannot follow a similar pursuit.
Well, not all of us want to be like you, Alpha.
I want to be like you.
Alpha do.
Walk like
No,
you. Talk
Alpha
like
just
you.
he drops his chin a little bit and says, "Am I flawed?"
No.
No.
Alpha, you're just different.
I walk up to Alpha and give him a hug, and I'm like, no, you're not.
And when you say he's just different, he looks at the whole party, which looks fundamentally different from each other, says, "But we are all different. I do not
And
understand."
There's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
You are special and unique, just like everything that has ever existed.
Yes.
Give Alpha one good life lesson.
Alpha just kind of turns to them and says, "There are times I feel you are simply playing with my naivete. However, I do not blame you. It is very fun. I understand the concept of fun. I am trying to learn it as well."
Alpha, you just keep on trying.
Oh, excellent. Now, can we proceed with the breeding ritual?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. I have many notes I must take. And when can we expect a baby to potentially explode?
Give it about 3 years, or at least.
Oh, wow. We must begin post-haste. If 3 years is the time, the world may end by then. We must begin immediately.
Well, like we said, there's no lovemaking when the world's ending. When we have to save the world. So we're gonna have to wait until the world's saved.
This is very complicated.
It is.
You'll learn it in time.
I certainly hope so. I do not wish to fail on my mission of understanding the world and how to better spread the word of God throughout it.
Well, you know, Alpha, the best way to spread the word of Gond is to start a mega church of Gond.
Oh, really?
Sure. And then you got to make sure that you get some wizards in your team so that they can, broadcast it through scrying so that you can reach millions of people at the same time as you're preaching your sermons.
Fascinating.
Yes, but
But I'm more of a scout rather than a preacher. I work as a missionary. I believe the progenitor may be able to assist with that.
Yeah, he might be able to. Absolutely. But anyway, you were asking for the best way to spread the word of Gond. I got to tell you, evangelism.
Oh, excellent. Then we shall begin doing this together, as a team.
After we save the world.
He's got a point.
Your rules are very, very complicated. You cannot love, you cannot spread holy words, but we must also save the world. However, why do you wish to save the world if the world has no love or Gond?
Well, it's more like prioritizing. We have to save the world in order for love to exist and the word of God to be spread. There's no world, there's no spreading the word, and there is no love.
But would it not make more sense if we had more people to assist us with this saving of the world process?
Well, that's why we're on this trip, is we're gonna find someone that can help us with this.
And would not spreading the word of God help us get additional people to assist us with this process?
Possibly, but
And would not love also strengthen bonds between individuals in order to allow them more motivation to assist us in saving the world?
yeah, sometimes love is a bit of a distraction. You get competing loyalties, so it's best to stay focused on the mission for right now. And another thing that really helps in a missionary's work is money. So oftentimes it takes a lot of money to set up the infrastructure to spread the word efficiently. So, being as how none of us really have a lot of money right now, we need to amass some as well. So, save the world, amass money, set up the infrastructure so that you can spread the word of God efficiently.
Oh, so we need additional people, we need to have no competing interests, and we must have additional sources of revenue in order to have better construction and better teams. Oh, so what you're saying is we should all spread the word of God very actively.
But we have to save the world first.
But to save the world, we spread the word of God.
Okay, how about we just put a pin in that
He's
conversation?
stuck in a circular loop.
Kinda. He's forcing the logic though. Priorities. Chain.
He's religious, of course he's forcing the logic.
Anyway, yes, all right, Alpha. We will circle back to that conversation at a later time. But just trust us that we are on the correct course, right?
Oh, is that not the captain's job to make sure we are on the correct course?
I
I did
was,
not know you were familiar with seas.
I was speaking metaphorically there, Alpha.
Ah, understood.
That's like for the rest of the or at least for the rest of this hour, Castor's just kind of chills as a giant goat and occasionally angrily bleats at any gnome that walks by him.
All right. You angrily bleat for a while. You eventually turn back to your normal form. I guess the day comes to a close. You all get to witness the green flash as the sun sets, and everyone retires to their respective sleeping arrangements.
Or standing holding a candle arrangement.
As the case may be, yes.
All right, perfect. Seems like actually the perfect time to. It's about that time, isn't it?
It is. I think that's a good place. We'll just end right there. You know, it's good. It's a good awkward spot to pick up on next time.
I think so. Oh my god. All right, perfect. That was definitely an interesting session, I gotta say.
It was something.
This is exactly what I was talking about when I said, it's like a skeleton. You guys are going down the spine, and I gotta have all these plans for the different ribs, but you just beeline for the pelvis sometimes.
Well, we definitely did in this particular instance.
Yeah.
This has been an Azentuary LLC production. Find us online at azentuary.com for our character bios, merchandise, Patreon, and more. Thank you for listening.
Well, I mean, we do call ourselves the Nat Ones for a reason because, oh my god.